Good afternoon, boys and girls. So this evening, once again, we will be continuing with our Unit 7 dealing with measurement. So before we get started today, the first thing that I want to go over is the vocabulary for Unit 7 at this particular time. So we have measurement Unit 7. We have linear U.S. customary units, and those vocabulary words, boys and girls, are inches, feet, and yard. Then we have what's called linear metric units, and those vocabulary words are meter, centimeter, and kilometer. So I know you see the word linear in both U.S. customary units right here, and you see the word linear in the metric units vocabulary. So the word linear, boys and girls, all that means is going along in a straight line. That's what linear means there. So inches, feet, yard, meters, centimeter, and kilometer. So right now, what I'm going to do, I want you all to copy what are the definitions for the U.S. customary system and the metric system. Okay, boys and girls, so the definition that I want everybody to see is what exactly is the U.S. customary system? Okay, now this system has many different rules governing the relationships between smaller units and the larger ones. So I'll leave that there for a second, but boys and girls, this is something that I need you all, once you look at the video, to make sure that you copy and put down in your notebook so far as vocabulary, the U.S. customary system. Okay, so what exactly is the metric system? Now, the metric system uses magnitudes of 10, similar to our base 10 place value system, to convert larger units into smaller ones. Now, I know we already started looking at our math unit today before I got into this. So this is why, boys and girls, I know we had a lot of messaging. Um, we was trying to find out what actually was going on with the difference between the metric system and the U.S. customary system. So this is why I'm giving you a roadmap on what actually is the difference between the two. And what you're going to find out, boys and girls, is that using the metric system is a whole lot easier than what we use in the United States so far as our system. Case in point, boys and girls, I think the United States probably is the only country, or one of few, I won't say the only, but one of few countries that does not utilize the metric system. Because once we go over the metric system today, you'll find out how much easier it is than using the U.S. Customary units. So let's talk about the U.S. customary units for a second, boys and girls. Now, so measurement is all around us, boys and girls. You can look anywhere, anywhere you go. I don't care where you are. You can measure something. So let's talk about when we measure in dealing with U.S. customary units. How do we then measure what these particular objects? Now, let's start with the smallest unit here, boys and girls, and we're talking about 1 inch. Now, if we take a look at this yardstick, boys and girls, you see how long it is, of course. Here's 1 inch right here. This is how long 1 inch is. And so then you say, okay, what's something in the real world that we could say is pretty much 1 inch? Let's take a look at this black top here, boys and girls. If you look at from the top to the end of this black tip, that's basically how long 1 inch is. Okay, so that's 1 inch there. And then we want to talk about one ruler. Okay. And of course, time and time again, boys and girls, we've seen a ruler, we've used a ruler, and a ruler, boys and girls, has 12 of these inches. So every time you see a ruler, you see 12 inches. Now, so what could we use in the real world to say, okay, I hear what you're saying, Ms. Stuckey, but give me some other type of real world examples on how long is one foot. Okay. Look at this notepad right here, boys and girls. From side to side. That's almost exactly 12. That's almost exactly 12 inches right there from side to side. Okay? So like I said, you see we have examples all over the place. Now, in your mom, dad's, or grandma's car, or whoever's car you riding in, if you think about the license plate, now going from side to side on the license plate, a license plate too is approximately 12 inches long, same size as a ruler. So we have, once again, the example of my pen, the yellow pad, and license plate. And I'm not just really giving you a thumbs up right now, boys and girls. What I'm really doing is giving you another example of 1 inch from the tip of my fingernail to the knuckle. That's 1 inch, just about. Okay? So when you're giving thumbs up, boys and girls, in your mind, I want you to always think about, I'm giving a thumbs up and I'm giving a 1 inch up too, jokingly speaking. Okay, now, so we've talked about the 1 inch, talked about the ruler. Now we're going to talk about the yardstick. So right here, boys and girls, here is an example of the yardstick. Okay? This is an example of the yardstick here. And when you live in the yardstick, boys and girls, look at there. One ruler goes exactly 12 inches long, just like we said. Then we have we put another ruler there, and it goes all the way over to 24 inches. Now, I only have 2 hands, boys and girls, so I can't do the magic trick of using this third ruler, but I do have a third ruler over there on my table. And if I were to put that other green ruler on this yardstick, these 3 yardsticks would cover the yardstick. So what I'm saying is to you that a yardstick is the same thing as saying 3 rulers. Okay? Hopefully you all got that part of it. So let's talk about real world scenarios again. What do we have in a house, I wonder, that could be approximately, going back to the yardstick? We have any sports fans in the virtual distance learning? Any people that play sports? I'll pause for a second. Well, I'll raise my hand. I'm a sports person. But anyway, now, do we have any baseball players? Do we have any softball players? Okay, so if you're a baseball player, softball player, or you just know the game of baseball, that baseball bat that the boys or girls, that you boys or girls utilize, that baseball bat is just about a yardstick long. It's about 36 inches long. Okay? Now, so I can say, what else could I use? Now I'm going to stand up here, boys and girls, so bear with me. What else could I use to say, what else could I say in the real world that would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 36 inches? Well, look at these gray pants I have on, boys and girls. Can you all see these gray pants? Now, my yardstick, boys and girls, is basically, a yardstick would be from the heel up, the bottom of my shoe, to the beginning of my pocket. So you go from the floor all the way to the beginning of my pocket. That's how much the size of yardstick, how long it is, okay? All right. Now, so we say, oh, and before I move on, I want to, if one more house item I want to use here, talking about the ruler. Here, right here, boys and girls, paper towel holder. Now, my paper towel holder, boys and girls, back in my room, is pretty much the exact same size as a ruler. 12 inches, okay? So basically, this and this ruler here are the same size, okay? All right, just want to throw that in there. So we have ruler, yardstick, we have an inch, then we have a ruler, which is 12 inches long, and then this yardstick, once again, boys and girls, when I put the rulers linear, that means going along. Remember our vocabulary word linear. When I put the rulers across, it made 3 rulers or 36 inches. Okay, you got that? Give you a chance to put that there, boys and girls, just for a second. So you see, boys and girls, this is why some of you were having some difficulty today, because we hadn't gone over the lesson yet, and some of y'all didn't grasp or understand what needed to be done or what you had to know in order to convert U.S. customary units. So, having said that, boys and girls, we're gonna look at 4 different domains. We're gonna look at first inches to feet. Then we're gonna look at converting yards to inches. Then we're gonna convert yards to feet, and then finally we're gonna convert feet to inches. And just keep this in mind, boys and girls, in order to convert U.S. customary units, once again, you have to know what an inch is, you have to know a ruler, and you have to the length of a ruler, 12 inches, and you have to know the length of a yardstick, 36 inches. So let's take a look at some examples. And boys and girls, and these examples was what I was trying to get you all to look at on those conversion chart games that you were saying you didn't pretty much understand what was going on with that today. So what those games were doing is pretty much what we're going to be doing so far as examples here. So we have feet, to inches. No, not here. I won't do that. I won't do that first. Let's do inches to feet. Sorry there, boys and girls, if you had to do a little bit of erasing, so I'll give you a chance to change that. Inches to feet. Now, the first example is, boys and girls, if you have (37) inches, how many feet would that be, I wonder? If you have 37 inches, how many feet is that? What would you do to try to get that answer there? And I'll give you a few minutes to think about that, boys and girls, before we move forward. 37 inches equals what? What would you do? What's the thought process with converting inches to feet? Okay, so now, what are some things you have to think about in order to come up with this answer? Okay. So, one thing you had to know, boys and girls, that there's 12 inches in 1 foot or in that ruler. So if that's the case, how do we determine how many feet are in this inches here? Okay, so I've always said, boys and girls, there's always more than one way to skin a cat, and we've always talked about that, figuratively speaking. So one person may want to keep subtracting 12 inches. Okay, you still have 25 inches left. So you subtract another 12. You have 13 inches left. So you're asking yourself, can I get 12 more inches out of that 13? And if you ask yourself that question, of course the answer would be yes. So you would subtract one more time. All right. Now, this one here, of course, this one is not large enough to get 12 inches out of there. So that will let you know that you're finished with your mathematical process. So, having said that, how many feet do we have? That's 1 foot there. That's another foot. That's another foot there. So what you're going to see, how many feet do we have, boys and girls? So all together, you have 3 feet. And this is this symbol that you all was asking me about earlier. So 1 inch, or another way to look at it, boys and girls, would be 3 feet with a hash over to the right of the 3 and 1 inch. That would be the answer to that one right there. 37 inches equals 3 feet, 1 inch. That's the answer there. Okay. I'm going to try one more out of this group, boys and girls, then we're going to move on to another conversion. Let's suppose we have 58 inches. How many feet can we get out of 58 inches? Okay. Now, so remember now, let's pretend like this is your second, third, or fourth time doing one of these problems. And once again, I've already said there's more than one way to skin a cat. So some of you may say, okay, I don't want to keep adding on like that, but we are going to do that way. some may say 58 divided by 12. Now, think back, boys and girls, think back to the anchor chart that we had in the classroom when we were doing division, okay? Right, remember that? And then then you ask yourself, can you get 12 groups of 10s out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tens? Of course you cannot. So we would just regroup and rename once again. Now this is the precursor. We talking about this base 10. So once again, you cross out one of those 10s. Regroup and rename again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Regroup and rename. Regroup and rename. And regroup and rename. Okay. And then of course, now that we've regrouped and renamed all of our 10s, you ask yourself now, how many groups of 12 do we have with the regrouping and renaming of all these ones? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So far, that's 3 groups of 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, now, so far we have 1, 2, 3, we have 4 groups of 12. So right now we have, so far, 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot. We have 4 feet because we have 12 in each group. Let's see if we have another group of 12 left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Uh-oh, we don't. So if that's the case, boys and girls, then our answer would be 4 feet and 10 inches when you start off with 58 inches, boys and girls, just by using your base 10 division, instead of just keep using repeat subtraction with the 12. So instead of going, the first time we did by 12, we could have kept subtracting, so on and so forth. How many 12s do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like when we did our base 10 division. How many do we have left over? 10. How many do we have left over when we did our base 10 division? We had 10 left over. That's what we mean, boys and girls. Once again, as you all know, there's more than one way to skin a cat to get the answer, right? Good job. I hear you out there in virtual distance learning land clapping for yourselves. You think I can't hear you, but I can hear you. Excellent job there. Okay, so that's one way to convert a process dealing with converting inches to feet. Okay? So let's take a look at another example here of conversion. And hopefully I kept it in long enough, boys and girls, so you all could copy that. I'm hoping I did. So now we're going to look at converting yards to inches. Okay.